Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to speak on the full package of bills, if I may.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to first start off by reminding us what the real problem is. I know we keep talking about $1.2 billion, but if you keep looking at any type of outside report that tells us what's wrong with our infrastructure, this problem is closer to a $2 billion problem. And the reason why we're at $1.2 billion is I think the governor has made a political calculation that there's not enough fortitude in either chamber to actually fix the real problem. But the reality is we could probably only get to $1.2 billion. And that might be a right political calculation because we're in the fifth year, and we haven't been able to address this issue. And so I say that because right now we're talking about $1.2 billion. And we don't actually see that revenue until 2020. And so for those of you that are in your third term, and those of us that are in our second term, your legacy will be that you should have been funding close to $1.5 billion of new revenue every year, but the best the third termers will ever do is $438 million. And then for us that are in the second term, the same thing, because the real increase that gets closer to $1 billion doesn't happen till the year we leave office. So we haven't solved a problem. Don't be congratulating yourselves that we hit $1.2 billion, because there is not a single one of us that will be serving in this chamber when that $1.2 billion is hit. So please, don't be talking about $1.2 billion. Talk about what's really going to happen. Next year we're going to see little under $400 million in revenue. The year after that, we're only going to see $432 million. That's the reality. It's not $1.2 billion. The reality is the next 2 years, the first year is little under $400 million, and the next year is $432 million. You didn't even get to a third of what the governor's goal was, let alone 20% of what the real problem is. That is a reality. So how do you fund this? Well, you've created a birthday tax. And that birthday tax, you're going to charge people every year for their birthday for the next 2 years. You're going to pretend like they're going to get a $1.2 billion worth of investment in their roads, but in reality, they're only going to get $400 million. So we're going to be taxing those people by these registration fees every year, but still not getting them what they want, which is actually comprehensive road infrastructure spending. And then I have a real question. Can we actually raise that revenue? The Secretary of State's office just sued the vendor who deals with those types of registrations. I asked in committee, and our friends in general government will remember this. I asked the question, can you next year have this ready to be able to take the new increases in fees? And I was told the answer is no. So it'd be really great to hear, since we don't have a vendor working on this anymore, the BAM network, if you remember, we're actually suing that vendor. I don't even know if we can actually raise that revenue. So that's what we're going to base this on, a birthday tax on individuals, and they don't even get the full impact of that investment. And then what's most irresponsible is this $600 million. You don't even tell us where it's going to be. This is the same plan that we had in June. $600 million and $600 million, but yet somehow you made it worse because you added an income tax cut that has absolutely no floor. Absolutely no floor. So it has the potential, if nobody changes this down the road, to actually go down to zero income tax. What does that do to our roads in long term? You might get $1.2 billion, but you're going to cause billions of dollars of deficit to our schools, to our public safety, to our healthcare systems. And I'll just remind you really quickly that we have significant issues we have to work with on the budget. We have the personal property tax reform that's going into effect. That's going to cost us $93 million and then eventually get up to $350 million a year in lost general fund revenue. The same thing with the driver's responsibility fees. We're going to see reductions in the general fund. My colleagues mentioned the HICA tax, the fact that we have to do the Healthy Michigan match. There are significant impact on the general fund coming year after year. And now we're going to take an additional $600 million. You don't even suggest where they're coming from. So how is this plan any different than what we had in March. And so I would hope that the Senate doesn't play for this gambit. Because really what this is, in my opinion, is you all got upset that the majority leader said what he did a couple days ago, and you're going to stick it to him. And you're going to hopefully hope that he blinks. And then if he blinks, you hope the governor blinks. And that, unfortunately, I don't think helps us move this process forward. So yes, we are frustrated. This is irresponsible, and this is reckless. Now, hopefully this is just a political ploy for you to get one up on the Senate. And if that's the case, I understand why politics happens. And if that is really what's happening here today, and we have to come back to this, I want to say that we are open to that. We are open to working with you, to finding that right solution. Again, not a rehash of what the June plan was, which economics professors, which editorial boards across the state called irresponsible. A real plan. We're going to be here to do that. And out of respect for that, I am going to vote for the warranty bill. I'm going to ask my colleagues to vote for the warranty bill to show you again that we are willing to work with you in a bipartisan fashion to make the right decisions as we move forward, not support a plan that's reckless and a rehash of what we did in June. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the time and the opportunity to speak to this matter.